Hey guys, can anyone explain this? No? Okay, so let's do the same for Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's talk about it. Alright, so I know everyone likes Asalos, right? You know, he was kind of like the Thunder Wyvern, right? Anyway, since there were definitely no other Thunder Wyverns that the community adored, let me introduce you to Exhibit A, this douchewad. Surface level, Ray Dao doesn't look all that powerful, and I understand that, but can you just admire this scene? I'm just saying, a monster that can do this has got to be pretty strong in its own right. Let me tell you something. Power scaling and the Monster Hunter community go together like oil and water. So why am I bringing this up? Because Thunder's pretty terrifying, man. Though Thunder is the sound and lightning is the actual thing running through this guy's veins at all times, but I digress. Ray Dao is pretty mobile, able to fly very fluidly, and using his wings to assault you as he comes crashing down like a little boy in Hiroshima. Why did that sound better in my head? But his main weapon of mass destruction is that rail cannon taped to his forehead. He folds his boat horns towards whatever sorry thing pissed him off, and if that happens to be you, my dear hunter, you're in for a wild ride, because next thing you know, you're gonna be waking up in a gurney with that wench Alma telling you, "Don't worry, you'll get him next time," as if you aren't gonna drop into Ray Dao's territory again and taxidermy him. Honestly, between him and Asalos, I'm gonna give the former the victory here, and while he's not the strongest thunder monster in the universe, he deserves a bottom spot here because it was between him, Nuudra, and Nuthduna, so I chose the one that took me the least amount of time to hunt. I'm gonna move on to the next monster now. Surprise, surprise, Arkveld is second on this list, but the reason will make sense once I talk about the last monster. In the meantime though, Capcom really knew how to make a menacing figure out of Arkveld. He's almost treated like a horror villain in every cutscene because when he's fighting another Apex, you just know how it's gonna end and it's always so one-sided. But why is that? Those chains attached to his limbs are pretty much the answer. Not only do they help in immobilizing prey, but they also act independently to some extent. And the biggest thing about them is that they can absorb elemental energy from the environment and even other monsters. Let me drill this into your head. Almost every elemental attack you've seen in this franchise means absolutely nothing to something like Arkveld. He makes it null and void, as if it never even happened in the first place. And it's not like he doesn't have any other things up his sleeve. He's pretty agile and can use his chains as whips, meaning not only does he have the output to do some serious damage, but he can also do it from a distance if he chooses. And don't forget, these chains can be controlled separately, so he doesn't have to focus all of them into one spot, though he doesn't anyway because why not? A very strong monster due to his unique ability, but there is one monster in this game that completely puts him into the ground. And no, it's not the final boss. Hot take, Leviathan fights suck. Fortunately, Jin Dahad's hunt doesn't fit that category, so that's why I'm talking about him now. Now, you may or may not be wondering, what makes this guy stronger than Arkveld? Well, for starters, his whole body is covered in metal, so good luck to any monster trying to get past that armor. Hell, I can't even name many monsters who can even pick him up. This guy is huge! Even at his smallest, he's still gargantuan compared to the hunter, and he has the firepower, or I guess, ice power, to back it all up. Speaking of, the most dangerous thing about him isn't his size, it's his control over the frost. Using the ridges on his head, back, and tail as heat sinks, he can effectively absorb an absurd amount of heat, only to expel it outwards, which results in cooling down the surrounding environment, basically instantly freezing it. Do you know how insane that is? No other monster, apart from Elder Dragons and those who approach that level, can have that kind of effect on the land they inhabit. Hell, he does it more successfully than some Elder Dragons. Looking at you, Chameleos. And this ice is no joke, and neither is the instant freeze. He can concentrate on it and shoot it out like a beam, or make the ground explode in ice, or coat his limbs with frost and just f you up that way. And if that wasn't enough, he has, in my opinion, the most aesthetically pleasing special move that is only surpassed by the strongest Elder Dragons. The game doesn't even tell you to avoid it the first time around, which is kind of annoying, but look at this. Jin Dahad easily has the destructive capability to overpower almost every monster in the series. And if that still doesn't convince you of what this guy can do, let me tell you a little story. In Monster Hunter Wilds, there is this thing called the Dragon Torch, which basically empowers the different biomes during inclemency, one of the game's main weather options. Let me repeat myself. This thing can output enough energy to change the weather in not one, not two, but all of the major areas of the game. It can create thunderstorms, blizzards, heat waves, etc. with just a fraction of its power. You know what Jin did while he was having a temper tantrum? He froze it. He temporarily stopped something that contained enough energy to greatly amplify the weather itself. He stopped a coked-up weather machine that single-handedly prevents the collapse of all the environments and their respective ecosystem. Can Arkfeld do that? Can most Elder Dragons do that? I don't think so. Case closed. Well, this video was pretty fun to make, especially with all the research that took me 10 minutes to find. I just really want to thank everyone for watching this video and the one from the intro, because never in a million years did I expect one of my works to do that well. But I'm glad that it happened. If I bother to remember, I'll link the playlist to my other Monster Hunter bangers that you guys should totally watch, so go check them out when you can. In any case, I will see you guys in the next video. Love y'all.